Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Sports Express. I'm Alonzo, and today we're going to be working on the Week 9 picks for the NFL this week. Um, Last week was a little bit of a enigma. A lot of games just didn't make much sense. I just wouldn't have thought that the Las Vegas Raiders would go up into Cleveland and hold them to 6 points. 16-6. It didn't make much sense. I mean, both teams usually put points on the board, but for some reason, points were at a premium last week. So that didn't make any sense. But like I said, each week in the NFL, it's just you can never put your finger on exactly what's going to happen. New England continues to just look kind of lethargic right now. I don't know if it's because Cam coming off of his COVID, but right now they're not the same team. But you got to also understand too, they don't have the same talent. Tom Brady being gone makes a big difference. It just really does. And, their offensive weapons is not as good this year. Cam Newton's a pretty good quarterback, but he can't do everything. And Bill Belichick, he's a genius. He's a genius, football genius. But even a genius runs into a wall. And I think maybe right now New England's probably in that rebuilding mode. I really do believe that. I'm hoping that Cam can salvage this season because he's kind of interviewing for his next job next year. So I'm pulling for Cam to, because I really believe that him leaving Carolina, I think they just kind of dumped him. I think he still have at least a good four or five good seasons in him if you surround him with the talent. He's not that mobile quarterback anymore where he can just run anytime he wants to. Like in 2015, he's still electric now, but he's still not that 2015 quarterback because now he got miles on his body. He's got to kind of take care of himself, so he's gonna have to learn how to more be in the pocket or scramble to create plays now. Whereas back then, this guy, he was so electric that at any given moment he could take off, and it forced the defense to be honest with him, which means they left a lot of receivers and tight ends open and sometimes running back. So like I said, I'm hoping Cam Newton can get his situation straightened out up in New England. And, I don't see him being in New England next year. Not because he's not a great quarterback. I just feel like this is more like an experiment for him and Belichick. And I think that Belichick could probably have somebody that he'll probably mold into his vision. And I think Cam, unless something miraculously happen, I think Cam will wind up somewhere. I just don't know where. But I think Cam is still a definite talent. So why don't we dive into Week 9 of the NFL season, and I'll give you my picks on those. The first one is Houston at Jacksonville. Both of them have had a pretty awful season. Jacksonville probably more than Houston. Houston is not a bad team. They lack that explosive receiver. It was just foolish. It was foolish for O'Brien to let Hopkins go based on salary demand and take away one of Deshaun Watson's biggest weapon. And he's seen the results of that right now. But if you take a look at a lot of the Texans games, they've been in a lot of their games. So Jacksonville they're just searching for answers. They're searching for answers everywhere. They lost Jalen Ramsey, one of their biggest defensive tackle. He's gone. A lot of players are trying to force their way out of Jacksonville. Jacksonville is just a mess right now. It really is. And so the Houston and Jacksonville game, I'm going to have to go with Houston win this game. Unless Houston go in there and just screw around and play down to Jacksonville, I don't see Houston win. I don't see Houston losing this game. I see Houston winning. They haven't picked them to win by 7. I'm not as comfortable with the 7. I'm just not comfortable with them being on the road. So I'm just going to go with Jacksonville for my money line. I'm going to go with Houston to beat Jacksonville on the money line. Now, the next game is Seattle and Buffalo. That's going to be a great game. Seattle. If you go to Seattle, then you in for a game. I remember Minnesota a few weeks back. They had Seattle where they wanted them. They had them where they wanted them, and Russell Wilson, he brought them back. Is Seattle just have some kind of magic when they're playing up in Seattle? But now they're going to Buffalo. Both of them right now. Buffalo right now is they're kind of having like a past couple of off weeks. Josh Allen is pretty good though. He's a good quarterback. He's definitely the quarterback of the future. I wouldn't have thought that when Josh Allen came out of Wyoming and he came to Buffalo that he was going to be their savior. But I really think that they found them a franchise quarterback in Josh Allen. He was pretty good at Wyoming. I watched him play, but I didn't see what I see now. This guy has grown and matured in his second season. I just think that Josh Allen is going to make Buffalo a really good. And the defense is really solid. They have one of the top corners in the NFL. So they're really solid on defense. Now, Seattle is too. The Seattle is not the Legion of Boom like it used to be. That defense is nowhere near stifling like it used to be. But they're still pretty good. They're pretty good when they need to be. But Seattle this year seems like they're more carrying the team with the offense and the defense. The spread line is Seattle by 3. And I just feel really comfortable going with Seattle by 3. I just really think that if Seattle go in there and move that ball around like Russell Wilson does, I just don't see Buffalo playing shootout with them. Buffalo is more of a control ball type of club. They're not a shootout type of team. If it's shootout, Seattle will win this going away. If it's control ball and it become a defensive struggle, then I'm going to give Buffalo the edge. But if it turns out the way I think it will, Seattle will win by 3. And I definitely picked Seattle as my money line. The next one is Denver Broncos and Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what much to tell you about that game. That they're both a mess. The Falcons just a mess. I don't see them giving Ryan a long-term deal. Gurley, he's seen his best years. Those best years are gone behind him. Denver, Locke, I don't like him. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. He's decent. I love Lansey out of Colorado. He's a pretty solid. He reminds you of a Christian McCaffrey little brother. That's what he reminds me of. He's not overpowering. He's not super fast, but he gets the work done. And Denver plays solid in their games. All their games, they're playing solid. They're playing solid games. But, Atlanta Falcons, you don't know what you're getting from one minute to the next. They blown a lot of games, and then they go out and they blow a team out. And then they get blown out. So this game is a really big mess. I would personally stay away from the game. But if I had to, I would say the line is the Falcons by 4. I would buy down and say I'll take the Denver Broncos plus 9. I buy 5 points and then take that and put with the plus 4 and buy Denver at a plus 9. So I'm going to say Denver Broncos will lose by less than 9 points. Now, my next game is the Detroit Lions and Minnesota. Detroit is at Minnesota. Minnesota's another team that's a big mess right now. Kirk Cousins, he just doesn't look like the same quarterback the past couple of years. They always have had slow starts, and then he just get hot. And that could happen. That still could happen this year. But right now, he just looks really lost. Thiemann is a great receiver. Dalvin Cook, I love him out of Florida State. This guy is electric when he's not injured and not off the field. When he's on the field, it changed the complexity of the Minnesota offense. Detroit, I think it's going to be a little personal because Adrian Peterson, that was his home for years in Minnesota. And he's still a decent running back that he's contributing. So I'm a big fan of Adrian Peterson, but he's splitting time with him and Swift out of Georgia. and Swift is going to be a pretty nice running back. Georgia have always put out great running backs. Georgia just, if you take a look in the past, Georgia just continues just cycling out good running backs. Great personnel out of Georgia. But I think it's gonna be a little personal for a little personable for Adrian Peterson, and I like Matt Stafford to keep them in the game. I like them keeping them in the game, and right now it's Minnesota win by 5, and I'm gonna buy 5 units and say that I'm gonna go with Detroit losing by less than 10 points at Minnesota. Keep your eyes on that game. Baltimore and Indianapolis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on here. Indianapolis is 5-2, and so is Baltimore. I don't know what it's something I might be missing, but I just do not believe that Baltimore is going to lose to. I know they've had a past couple of rough weeks. They have. But I still don't see them losing to Indianapolis in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. I just do not. That's one of my dark horse pick this week. Is I'm gonna say that they're picked to lose by 1. I'm gonna go off the limb and say Baltimore Ravens win this game. They get Lamar Jackson back focused. That defense kind of solidifies and hunker down. And I just really do believe that Baltimore will win this week at Indianapolis. Now, my next one is Chicago and Tennessee. Tennessee has looked pretty normal the past couple of weeks. Chicago, I'm a Nick Foles fan, but I know with Nick Foles, you don't know from one week to the next what you're gonna get with him. This guy can light you up, and he gave them that spark that they needed a few weeks back when he was in Atlanta. And that's the thing about Nick Foles. When he hit that spark, he can carry a team. But he also has the time when you say, okay, now I see why they didn't keep him around. He's just kind of like this up and down. Chicago defense is what holds them. They are solid as they get. They have a great strong defense. That defense is what keeps them in their game each week. Tennessee has a great defense as well. I still take Chicago's defense over Tennessee's though. But Tennessee's running back, that boy is a beast. That boy is just a beast. And Tannehill is just as good. He's earned his wings coming out of when he left Miami and came up to Tennessee. I'll take Tennessee because they're at home. They've had a rough couple of weeks, but I still think Tennessee will win this game by 2. The spread is 6.5. I think because Chicago has such a good defense, and you never know what you're gonna get with Foles, I'll take Tennessee to win by 2 at home. My next game is Kansas City and Carolina. Bridgewater, great quarterback. I think he's worth every penny that they put in him coming down to Carolina. However, he's missing Christian. I don't know if he's going to be playing. They're saying that he's listed as doubtful, but he may play. Even if he does play, I don't see them beating Kansas City. They have too many weapons. And they're at home. When Kansas City lose most of their game, they lose by beating themselves. I don't see them losing this game. I'll take Kansas City as a money line. I won't say 10 points because it's that factor of if McCaffrey is playing. If he's playing, then it changes things. If he doesn't play, then it could get ugly real quick. But I'm going to take Kansas City regardless on the money line. Your next game, New York Giants and Washington Redskins. I'm not even going to waste my time even trying to break this game down because it is just a hot mess. You know, they got problems with the name of the team, the ownership. Then you got New York Giants and that mess that they got going on over there. So I'm not even going to get into it. But I will say I like Daniel Jones and I like the Washington Redskins defense. And I'm going to pick the New York Giants to lose by less than 8 points. So moving on, the LA Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm still saying LA Raiders, but Las Vegas Raiders against the LA Chargers. The defense looked great last week against Cleveland. And I think that Cleveland's defense is in my opinion, is a little better than the Chargers is. I like Carr. I like what he's doing. I think that Carr is a really solid quarterback. And they have the San Diego Chargers winning by 1. Here's another one of my dark horses pick. I'm gonna pick the Las Vegas Chargers to win this game outright. They're picked to lose by 1, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick the Las Vegas Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game. I'm just gonna move away from this pick right here because I'm just screwing up this Los Angeles and Las Vegas thing. Las Vegas Raiders. I picked them to win this game outright. Now, there you go. I got it right. Okay, and I'll get it right over the next couple weeks. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. It's still hard to get LA and Las Vegas. It's just really hard right now for me, but I'll get it right. Now, my next game is Arizona and Miami. They've turned the ball over to Tua now. Me, myself, personally, I was kind of against that because I felt like it was a slap in the face to move out the quarterback who led them out to San Francisco, and they just beat the living tar out of San Francisco 43-17, and then the next week they pull the rug off up under the man and give the ball to Tua. Tua is the future for Miami, but I just think that if you're going to do that to a quarterback, then at least have it to where he's having a bad game or he's in there as a study to hold, but this man's winning and bringing his team to respectability, then I think he has a right to continue to hold on to his job unless he shows you he can't hold on. Now, I think Tua is, like I said, he's gonna be a good quarterback once he gets talent around him and he learns the system up and down with Flores, the head coach Flores. But I'm still against how they treated the quarterback and putting him out in Tua's favor. Saying that, they're going out to Arizona and with Murray and Hopkins, and I just like Arizona at home. I just really like Arizona at home. They're picked to win by 4.5. Miami, they won last week, but they wasn't as good. It was a lot of turnovers, and that the opposite team had that Miami was able to win like they did. But Tua didn't have a great game, but he had a decent one. But I don't think that you can go out to Arizona and have that kind of game and beat them at home. So I'm going to go with Arizona to win by 3 points. It's 4.5, but I'm going to say Arizona win by three or more. So go with the Arizona Cardinals on this one. Pittsburgh and Dallas. We ain't going to waste no time. Pittsburgh looks just absolutely great. They look absolutely great. Tomlin has done a fantastic job. He is an epitome of showing you that when you give black head coaches an opportunity, just like anybody else in the league, that these guys can produce. Flores doing it, and Tomlin is doing it. And there's a talent with Eric Bieniemy, who's the offensive coordinator out there in Kansas City. This guy, he's going to be a great black quarterback if he get that opportunity. Tomlin did last year. They lost Ben Roethlisberger, their running back, didn't have much of a receiver core, and their defense was disseminated. And Tomlin brought them to respectability. He did more with less last year than any coach could have asked to bring them guys to respectability. Because they were that. Let's be honest. The quarterback they had last year was absolutely brutal. He was brutal. Anybody who tell you that quarterback was good last year was awful. Rudolph was awful. Anything they put in there was awful. Tomlin did the best he could what he did. And now with Ben back, Connor back there, and now him having his receiving core and that defense just tightening up, they look as good as you can get. Pittsburgh gonna make some real noise come playoff time. And now they're gonna be playing Dallas. And if Dallas play like they played the past couple weeks, they are gonna beat the tar off of Dallas. Pittsburgh will win this game. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 10 points, but it's not out of the rim for them beating them by 14 or more. It just depends on if Pittsburgh decided they just gonna just kind of like just go through the game, go through the motions, and still win the game. But I think that they'll win by 10 plus unless Dallas finds something, because Dalton is hurt, and we already know that their franchise quarterback is out for the year, and hopefully we pray that he come back in better spirits and better health next year, because I think that he's what Dallas needs. But what they have right now is pretty much awful. It's just awful. So Pittsburgh will win this game 10 plus, in my opinion. So take Pittsburgh for 10 or more points. Now, New Orleans and Tampa Bay. This is a tough game for me, ladies and gentlemen, because it's almost like mirror images of each other. Both of these offenses are high-powered offenses. Both of them can be lethargic. Tom Brady on one end, he got Evans and Goodwin, and he got Gronk, and he got a litany of running back with McCoy, and now they've added Antonio Brown. He won't get to play this week, from what I've been told. He'll be available. I don't know if they said that he's going to be available this coming Wednesday, or was it this past Wednesday? I don't know which one it is, but if he played in this game, which I don't think he will, this man has just a dearth of talent around him. And their defense is pretty good too. Their Tampa Bay defense is pretty good. Now on New Orleans side, their defense showed up, but they also can get ran up and down that field too. Jenkins left out of Philadelphia and came back to New Orleans, and he's a captain. But the defense, they're 1 week in, 1 week out. 1 week they'll shut you down, next week they'll get ran up and down the field. Drew Brees don't have the same arm he used to. You can just kind of tell. He reminds me a lot of Peyton Manning, and I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. That Peyton Manning last year, you could see him laboring to get that ball down the field. It used to be a beautiful zip. He was laboring to get it down the field, and you knew that his time was drawing to a near. And same thing it is for Drew Brees. Drew Brees has been a great quarterback, even when he left Purdue and put them on the map, and then went to San Diego, and him and Rivers had to vie for time. Then he went to New Orleans and made them a great team. I still say that between them two, if Rivers had went to New Orleans, I think they would have won Super Bowl. I think with Drew Brees going to New Orleans, they're going to win. Both of them were just great quarterbacks, but both of them couldn't have the ball. Drew Brees, he's had his time in the sun. He's still pretty decent. He still can move that ball around. It's going to be kind of hard for me to pick a winner in this game. So I'm going to move to the over and under. The over and under is 51 combined, for them two to score 51 points combined. And I got a good feeling that they can do that. I'm going to go and buy down and say that Tampa Bay and New Orleans will score 45 points combined together. I feel real comfortable with that number. Because sometimes, they'll start out slow and get fast. Sometimes start out fast and get slow. And sometimes they just run the gamut and they have almost 6-7 points. 45 points, I feel really good about that. So Tampa Bay and New Orleans will do the over and under, and they'll score over 45 points. I got that 44.5, so 45 points. My last game is New England and the New York Jets. Nothing can be as low as what the Jets are now. I think that they got to get rid of Adam Gase. This guy has just been, just like O'Brien was in Houston, they got to get rid of him. Just like they did with what's his name in Atlanta. Quinn. You got to get rid of Adam Gase. This guy's he's a death sentence. He's darkening the room. I just think that this guy, they should never hired him. They wasted a good head coach on this guy right here. I'm just not a fan of his. He's petty. He do personal things, and instead of him talking to his players, you can't. Bill Parcells was the type that he would tell you to your face. If he went to the media and said something, same thing he said in the media, he'll say it to your face. That's one thing about Bill Parcells. But when you was his player, and he stood behind you 100%. And he wouldn't let no one or nothing sit there and denigrate you under no circumstances. And I love Bill Parcells. He was a hard coach, but they loved him. And they played hard for him because they knew that his expectations of his players was no different than the expectation he had out of him and his coaching staff. This Adam Gase he has a completely different mindset that it's about him. He don't take much blame for anything. And then he'll throw off on the other players and get mad when they sitting out of frustration, speak out about it. And that's what got Adams out of New York. And that's what got Bell out of New York. Because these guys decided that they just had enough. I think Sam Darnold, I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL, coming out of USC. He's going to be great. But he don't have the talent, the real talent around him. And he's getting beat up in the process. They look as bad as they are. New England look bad. But I just do not see New England losing this game. I just don't. If they lose this game, then something has to give. Because there should be no reason why New England should be losing the New York Jets. But on any given Sunday, even though it's a Monday night game, on any given day, you can lose a game. Cam Newton, I expect him to come in there and make something happen for them to win. And I'm going to pick Newton. They picked them to win by 7, but I'm not even going to touch that money line. Because of how lethargic they've looked over the past few weeks, I'm not going to touch that money line. I'm not going to touch that point spread. I'm going to go with the money line and go with New England winning, going away. But I won't touch the point spread line. Now, we're going to go back at the end of this Sunday and we're going to look at what my record is, because each week after I make my picks, what I'm going to do, you'll see it, so that way people don't think that it's something made up of pie in the sky. When I tell you what my picks are, they will also at the same time be on my podcast, as well as my website, as well as my Facebook page. So that way you'll see right then and there that they're set in motion there, where you know that these are what my picks is and are, and then that way you can follow my record. Because as I stated before, I'm over 80th percentile with my picks, and I feel really good about it. And people who follow me, I really do believe that I can make you some money. I can make you some real money. Like I said, my season 1, just free picks. Like I said, every week you're gonna get 36 picks, 24 to 30 of parlay, which would be over and under, point spread, and money line, and then you get an alternate spread, which would be an alternate where the house give you 6.5 to 7 points on top of whatever the line is, and you'll get 12 to 15 of those picks. Then you're gonna have my dark horse picks, which is 3 dark horse picks each week. So right now, you know my dark horse picks are Baltimore and Las Vegas. Those are my dark horse picks for the NFL. I already have my dark horse pick for college, which is Arkansas. They have Arkansas losing by 1, and I just really like Arkansas, what they're doing, and they're at home, and they're playing against Tennessee. I'm not sold on Tennessee, and I got Arkansas losing by less than 8 points. So we're going to go and we're going to see the results at the end of Sunday, and I'm going to be right back at it again next week for week 11 of college football and week 10 of the NFL. And we're going to go forward throughout this whole season. And we look forward to NBA starting up on December 22nd. College basketball, you'll be having those picks as well. And we're just going to have a whole lot of fun with this. And I'm going to love to get the feedback from you all, and for you to join my email list, and for us to talk and discuss and have live interaction when games are going, and starting a Facebook group. And we're gonna just have fun with this. With this sports and entertainment, because this Carter Media is sports and entertainment package, where you're gonna have entertainment and sports, and we're gonna bring them all together and just have a great little mashup and go for it. For everybody here at Sports Express, I want to thank you all for tuning into my show. Please hit subscribe and join my mailing list. Other than that, thank you. Have a great evening and God bless. Good night.